Okay, let's run.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
It's a quest. It's a quest for fun.
Well, The Rock says, why don't we just cut right to the chase?
Okay, now he wants to get together. Well, he wants to talk.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
It's showtime, folks!
What are you?
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to And I Quote, the weekly show where we introduce you to content creators of all shapes and sizes that join us from many and all corners of the nerd universe. We find out more about them by taking your questions. I am your host, Ryan of Nerd Culture, and our guest on this episode is indie comic book writer, artist, creator of something known as BIGFOOT Knows Karate. You didn't see that one coming? No, I didn't. But please welcome Dan Price. Hello, Dan. How are you?
Hey, Ryan. How are you, man? Thanks for having me tonight.
Doing well, kind sir. Thank you so much for being with us. Now, if you have any questions for the one and only Dan Price as we go throughout the course of this episode, by all means, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Our producers are going to be keeping an eye on that as we go throughout the course of this program. But in the meantime, Dan, when were you introduced to the world of comics?
I would say 8 years old. 8 years old would definitely be the beginning of it for me. I was, Superman the movie was big for me when I was really young, 3 years old, that type of thing. But I read my first comic books when I was 8. X-Men 207, the one with Wolverine ripping through the cover. That was one of the first ones I got. And Marvel Saga number 8, 207, and then Marvel Saga number 8, which was just a reprint book of old early Marvel shit. Pardon me, stuff. What's the language barrier here?
Try to keep things family friendly, but we don't mind
Okay.
we don't mind one or two beep beep beep, every now and then, so it's fine.
Yeah, no. Okay, we'll be good for the rest of the night. Um,
Okay.
that would be the beginning, the genesis for me. Thank you, Carlos Nosa, the kid around the corner, for taking me to go buy comic books.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What would you say are some of your favorite comic book writers and artists, past or present? Any names stand out?
Oh yeah. Because of that Marvel Saga book that was just reprinting early 1960s Silver Age Marvel stuff, I really grew to love Jack Kirby early on. That was like one of those first things that was like, wow, this guy's rad. Bob Layton from Iron Man, he was another one that I was a huge fan of. I read a lot of Iron Man when I was young, and but John Byrne, his run on Fantastic Four was absolutely incredible. Um, who else? Silvestri's run on X-Men, I remember really enjoying that. I'm thinking as I'm getting older now, I'm moving up. We're in high school. And then, the original Image guys, all of those guys were really important to me wanting to make indie comics. That was probably their biggest influence, was the fact that you could make indie comics. But, no, today, I mean, the beginning and end for me these days is Frank Miller. I just think his run on Sin City is just incredible, and it's probably, he's not the greatest writer, he's not the greatest artist, but he is hands down to me one of those great creators who is just puts it all together beautifully.
Wow, really good names there. And it's good that you brought up the X-Men, because as soon as I hear those magic words, all I think of is dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Sorry, if you grew up in the 90s like myself, you know a thing or two.
Yeah.
But
Oh
I've
yeah,
seen
that was high school.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen a thing or two. Gosh, we're getting too old for this business. But with that being said, and you actually go right into segues into our next question. What would you say are some of your favorite comic book based movies or TV series, past or present?
Okay, so there's the trifecta, okay, which is the young kid trifecta, which is Superman the movie, all right, Flash Gordon, the Sam J. Jones, Max von Sydow, all right, that okay, and then a movie that you may or may not remember, it was called Condor Man, okay, and it was a Disney movie. It's on Amazon Prime, or it's on Amazon, yeah, but it wasn't a known property. It was just a Disney movie about a comic book writer who wanted to make wouldn't put anything in his comic books that he couldn't make happen in real life. He had these giant wings, and he flew off the Eiffel Tower, and it was ridiculous. And he gets caught in this whole CIA plot, and the music's awesome, and the cast is great, and it's a really good movie that nobody knows. But those three things were the original, got me into this type of thing. I'm talking 3, 5 years old. Um, Today, I mean, Sin City movie to me is like one of the greatest uh, translations from page to screen for sure. I really like, for Marvel movies, I really liked, oh, Black Panther. I thought was fantastic. The first Iron Man movie. There's a few of them that I can cherry pick out that they were pretty fantastic. But yeah, no, I mean, the Road to Perdition, that was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed the hell out of that. I'm trying to think of other things that are really. I mean, I could be here for an hour answering this question, so I'll uh I'll hold off here.
Oh, I understand. I understand. Can't keep too many people waiting. But good names you throw that. Just out of curiosity though, as a follow-up question, did you like the sequel, Sin City: A Dame to Kill For, or not so much?
I liked Dame to Kill for the Big Fat Kill. It started to get a little bit more. I that was a pretty good one too. Um, I like Dame. You know what I loved about A Dame to Kill for was I loved how the timelines were just a little bit askew from the first book to the second, and how you were seeing what was going on with Marv from book one in book two. They would just cross paths a little bit here and there. I thought that was pretty brilliant, and also because of the first person narrative, the first person narration, it was great to see how you saw Marv in the first book, and then how Dwight saw Marv in the second book. Like I thought that was just some brilliant writing on Miller's part. Um, yeah, did it pack as much of a punch for me as the first one? I don't know, probably not. But it was such a good book that it definitely had me coming back to go read the next series, which was Big Fat Kill. So
No, that's fair. That's fair. Just thought I'd throw it out there.
yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So when did you decide to become an indie comic book writer or artist?
Well, I when I was 16 was when Image happened. There was a local uh, comic book studio around, not far from where I lived, in the neighborhood I kind of grew up in, that they were making their own indie comics, and so I was hanging out with them, just hanging around the studio, kind of learning and hanging out and doing that sort of thing. I was going to make my own book then, but the studio did not, I mean, these things don't really work out too well generally. So it took me till I was 30 actually to do my first book. I had kind of, given up on that and moved on. And when I was 30, I was like, I've got to make a comic book. I have to do this before I'm 30. It was like one of those things that I just had to do it. And for if no other reason to say that I did. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of people talk about making books or writing novels or, comics or whatever. And they don't ever go through with it. It was one of those things I just needed to say, I made a comic. Doesn't really matter after that. And I made my first book. It was called Latex Avenger, and he had a sidekick spermicidal foam lad. I'll skip past a lot of this. And together, yeah, it was a very funny comic. It was a very, very funny comic. And I did another book called Masters of the Obvious. It was a sci-fi space parody, and it was Dr. Biclops. He had two eyes, and the Visible Woman. You can't miss her. And they flew around on a battle toaster called the USS Screensaver, and they had pop culture adventures throughout the galaxy. I was writing comedy comics. I was drawing comedy comics, and I did my first book. I was writing and drawing. I brought in an artist for that, and then that artist and I created Masters together. And then we ended up doing a project for the Stan Lee Foundation called Excelsi-ish, The Uphill Adventures of a Boy Named Stanley. It was a creator-owned project. Stan Lee's people tweeted it out on his Twitter every week or whatever it was, however the production schedule was. And it was a cool project. It was the only Y7 thing I've worked on. But it was a really good experience. I'd worked in the rated R segment. Worked in PG-13. I now worked in Y7. Now, after doing those three projects, I kind of figured out where my comfort zone is. And and but then again, I kind of turned that on its heels with this project that I'm working on now, Bigfoot Knows Karate, because it's not comedy, it's action adventure. So it's a whole other animal all at the same time.
My goodness gracious, no pun intended. Well, congratulations on that for the Stanley Foundation and all that wonderful stuff. And once again, we are here with Dan Price on this episode of And I Quote. Don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. And if you have any questions for Dan Price, by all means, let us know in the comments, let us know in the chat. Be more than happy to hear from you as we go throughout the course of this program. Wow, that's some really good stuff. So, what would you say are some of the biggest rewards about being an indie artist or writer?
Freedom, 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 freedom. You get to do what you want. Nobody's getting to tell you what to do. I mean, I know I have a publisher, Lesser Known Comics. I'm wearing the shirt today. And I love my publisher to pieces, and for one of the reasons that they let me do what I want. You know what I mean? It's a great relationship, but the fact that you can come up with an idea, it's a seedling. It's nothing, and you can cultivate it and raise it into, a full book. It's an amazing experience, and I don't doing that first one, I think a lot of people, that's such a daunting task that they don't come back for book two. And when you've done it, I did my first one when I finished when I was 30, and I was done. Like I'd gotten that out of my system, or so I thought. It was like when I was 2 years later when I came back and started doing it all over again, and running a series and doing all that. Now, I mean, there's some of it. Like I took a break for a lot of years, and I came back to doing this during the lockdown, during pandemic, and and here we are. We're in Kickstarter for our third book, for this series, which is super cool. And yeah, I just consider myself one of the lucky ones, Ryan. I mean, to be able to do this, and everybody who supports us, and makes it, gives you fuel to keep going. I just consider myself one of the lucky ones.
There you go, man. There you go. Not to pull another pop culture reference on you, but freedom. There you go. There's the freedom right there. So, on the opposite side of the fence, what are some of the biggest challenges about being an indie comic book writer or artist?
Oh, well, I could talk to you about it from the art form perspective, but I don't think that's the hardest part. I think of the marketing, the trying to, get people to see what you're doing. That's the toughest part. I mean, it's not what you signed up for, but it's what you have to do in order to make it to make look, it sucks to work in a vacuum, to work your push off and to not be able to and for nobody to see it. That's a tough thing. That's a tough pill to swallow, you know what I mean? So you got to get it out there into the universe and do your social media and do, you know what I'm talking about. You hustle, man. um it's tough, and so that's like the biggest thing is trying to get an audience going and get people excited about what you're doing and follow along with what you're trying, whatever you're trying to do. In our case, I mean, we got the Kickstarter going, so we're definitely trying to get people, excited about, about the book. But, it's more than that. It's like I don't want to just sit there and tell people what we're doing. I want to show them what we're doing and make it exciting through video or or just graphics or that sort of thing. That I would say that's the toughest part is just getting people on board. And but we've been really lucky. We have an amazing audience that we've built over Instagram. We've received over 150 pieces of fan art thus far, since we started doing, since before our first Kickstarter started happening. We received all this artwork, which has just been, I don't even know what to say about that. That's just an amazing experience when you get to see people take the time out of their lives to draw what they do or draw what you do. That's just an amazing thing. So, if anything like that ever happens to you, man, ride that wave. Because like if you start to go viral in any way, shape, or form, man, like grab a hold of that and try and get yourself to the next level or, the next round of visibility. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally, totally. Going out there, putting yourself out there, marketing is very important. It could be a challenge. It could be a challenging thing at the time. So I can certainly
Yeah,
understand that because social media is so big, it's so massive, and there's so many, and I've said this before to other creators, people both in front of the camera and behind the camera. Getting your name out there it's tough because there's so many voices, and social media is such a big landscape. It's hard
absolutely.
to at times make yourself stand out from the crowd, because I think you, myself, or myself, you and I, and and a lot of other folks out there consider ourselves, sorry about the words, I'm messing up my words a little bit here, but my point is we're considered small fish in a big pond, but we're making our stand every chance we get, and we're making our strides, and we're doing what we can to get the word out, because if you love what you do and you're passionate about what you do, people are going to feed off that energy. So,
Absolutely.
and you mentioned something earlier. What do I do? I mean, I'm just a simple man trying to just make his way in the universe. There's another pop culture reference there for you. If anyone catch that, put it in the comments in the chat. Let me know what movie or TV series that's from. If anyone caught that, but I'm just here to, me personally, I'm here to entertain. I love to entertain, and I love to share my love of pop culture with other people and hear their stories and hear what they're passionate about and why they're so passionate about whatever it is that they may do. Hence the reason we keep doing And I Quote, because we get to meet new people. Each and every single episode is fresh. And we love that. And we're going to keep doing it until we can do it no longer. So, if you're watching or listening to this episode of And I Quote and you like what you see here and you like our content, you have chosen wisely. So there you go. All these references are coming out, folks. They're coming. Let us know where they're coming from, because I'd be curious if anyone's going to catch on to a lot of these things as we're going through them. But I do want to share something with you who may be
Oh,
watching or listening to this. Oh, yes, Dan, what were you going to say?
sorry. I'm just a simple old man trying to make his way through the universe. I think I got that one. We'll talk about that after the show, but it's been killing me since you said it, but I think I nailed it. Go ahead.
Okay, we can
Sorry.
talk more about that in the behind the scenes area. But aside from that, I'd like to share something with you and the person who's watching or listening to this of And I Quote. Once again, we're here with Dan Price. This year, Bigfoot apparently is one of the biggest, known entities, characters. Is he fiction? Is he nonfiction? Whatever you want to call it. But apparently, he knows a new skill, and it's called karate. Jerry, karate. So, is he the next Karate Man or Karate Kid? I don't know. But Dan Price, for someone who is not familiar with Bigfoot Knows Karate, first of all, what is this? How did this story come about, and what is Bigfoot Knows Karate about?
Okay. Um, Bigfoot Knows Karate is the story of a gentle yet deadly cryptid warrior who, in the first issue, he has to do battle with Kung Fu Thulu in the ultimate cryptid showdown of the century. Think Godzilla versus Kong meets Kill Bill with a twist. And that's kind of the way we look at the book. Godzilla versus Kong meets Kill Bill with a twist. Um, that's just the first issue. It is a action adventure psychological thriller. It's got chock full of violence, but and it's got a really rocking twist at the end, really good storyline running through it. It is I mean, I don't know even this new book that we have coming out right now. We did the first two issues of Bigfoot Knows Karate. Chapter one was Hunter Prey. Chapter two was Born Under a Bad Sign. I'm a big blues fan. You'll start noticing that in the book titles as we keep going. Um, but yeah, where did it come from? Originally, it was supposed to be a comedy. The title would lend itself really well to a comedy, but it was the only thing I kept from the original idea that I came up with, well, like 2014, 2015. It's just the title. I took everything else and threw it away. 2017, 2018, I start redrawing the character again. This cover right here that you're looking at is the deluxe foil cover from Pentagon, drawn by Dennis Valencia. When I started redrawing the character in like 2017, 2018, started drawing it, and I was having this, I was thinking about the character a lot. What would it be like to be the only one of your species? What would that do to your psyche? What would that do to your attitudes in life and that sort of thing? And karate. That was like the what I kept thinking about over and over again. And what was interesting to me was this, I was drawing him with these dark bags under his eyes, and just like really these kind of pensive thoughts at faces, like deep in thought, and it kind of rolled from there. This, this Zen preacher that is a warrior, but is an underdog, a believer in the underdog. It's just a different spin on Bigfoot completely. I mean, he's a true warrior, but then Casey Allen, my co-writer, said something very funny to me that that said that's said something very oh I saw hey Morgan, how are you? Um, the sorry, that really threw me off for a second. The the character is it's I totally lost my train of thought, so bear with me in 1 second. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. It's just a different take on the character completely. He's a warrior. He's focused, and but Casey Allen, my co-writer, he said to me, we need a killer big bad in this book, and he was the one who coined the name Kung Fu Thulu, and immediately we came up with the visuals for what that was going to be, and it was sold like it was sold like it was just a big punch 'em up fist fight book. And it was, except for that fourth act, and the fourth act really took us where we're going in issue two, and so on and so forth. Hinagon, our new book right now, this actually takes place hundreds of years before in feudal Japan. So this is like a prequel comic that it's like a one shot black and white book that will actually serve well as a one shot story. But if you're looking for some backup story and then more information about our main storyline, this definitely lends itself to it. Now I'm going to say this really properly one more time. Hey Morgan, how are you, kiddo? It's so good to see you. When you came in the room, you threw me off for a second, but it's good to see you, kid.
Uh,
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all good. Yeah, Marion Hall clarifies, "Hi, Dan. It's Morgan Hall." So there you go. Morgan, thank you for being with us. If you have any questions for Dan Price, by all means, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat, and don't forget to like and share this episode with all of your closest friends because you're going to like the way you look after watching or listening to this episode of And I Quote. I guarantee it. So interesting stuff. Very interesting. I never thought I'd hear the day where Bigfoot actually knows karate. Wax on, wax off. Daniel-san. Daniel-san. Sorry, I got Karate Kid on the brain here, so I can't help it, man. I can't help it.
Do you like Cobra Kai?
The sad thing is, I've never seen it. And it's been on for years, and I've never seen Cobra Kai. But my brother keeps telling me, he's
So
like,
good.
dude, if you love the original film,
Oh
you're going to
yeah.
love Cobra Kai, because you strike
So
first, you
hilarious.
strike hard, and there's no mercy. So I know it's going on like what, 5, 6 seasons now, and I still haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm behind the 8 ball, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize, but one of these days I'm going to be going onto that streaming service, watching that series, enjoying it, hopefully as much as you may have been enjoying it. And also, I want to hear "You're the best around. No one in the world can give you that." Just let's hear all the cheesiness of the '80s, because Lord knows there's a lot of great stuff that came out of the '80s, brothers and
They
sisters.
do such a great they do such a great job like braiding that into the story. I
Mhm.
mean, it takes a while before they drop full summer, in there, but when they do, you're like, oh, that was the perfect time to do that. It's
Oh,
pretty
really?
great.
The song "Cruel Summer" by Bananarama's in there?
Yeah, it's
I,
in it's
I
in the
oh,
it's in Cobra Kai.
I love that song.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was in Karate Kid when he
I
was,
love that.
yeah.
Yeah, when
So
he's
they
driving his
do a
bike off
great
to
job with
school.
it.
Yeah, I remember that. And Marianne Hall, or excuse me, Morgan Hall, just to clarify, sorry. Morgan Hall says, "My dad watched Cobra Kai." Okay. All
Yeah.
right, that's cool. I can dig it. That's cool. Like I said, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't comment or speculate. I've only seen trailers because, as we all know, trailers are a dime a dozen on YouTube. So,
Yeah.
just saying. But that's interesting stuff. Well, congratulations on what is known as Bigfoot Knows Karate. And we wish you sorry, I can't help it. We wish you the best of luck with that storyline and the stories and the other things moving forward. Now, if someone wants for aspiring indie comic book creators out there, what pieces of advice would you give to them?
Okay. The big piece of advice I would give to somebody is don't be shy to put yourself out there into the universe and show people what you're doing. Don't be shy to take criticism or critique, because both of those things are going to make you better at what you do. In terms of putting yourself out there, going to conventions or being on social media, You don't have to talk about your life on your social media. I don't. I just talk about, comics and that sort of thing. That's just, but the other thing is get better at your craft. If you're a writer, read. If you're an artist, study art, draw, paint, do those things. If you're a writer, write every day. I mean, hey man, Stephen King writes 3 pages or what does he write? 6 pages a day. That's incredible. It's incredible. So if you just, it doesn't matter what you're writing, as long as you're getting your hands dirty and you're really cranking out some pages, just get in the habit of writing, and then you will become a better writer. I promise you that. I promise you that. They say it takes 10,000 hours to perfect anything. So the gauntlet's thrown down, and other than that, have fun at this with this, because if you're not having fun doing this, you're doing it all for the wrong reasons. 'Cause it will, it makes my life better being a part of this community. I feel like I'm lucky to be a part of this community, have something worthwhile to offer the community. I feel really lucky in that regard. I mean, it was either this or join a street gang. I had to make comics. It was for the betterment of society. I had to do this. So, um, and yeah, I mean, that's what I would do. That's my advice for the people.
Great pieces of advice there. And man, either I create comics or I join something known as a street gang. Boy, this is heavy. There's that word again, heavy. Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull? Never mind. Anyway, there's another reference there for you. Anyone know this one? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah,
I'm on a roll today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll. I'm loving it. Plus, I've watched one too many movies because I've been a geek/nerd since I was at the age of 3. So,
sure.
I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two. Can't help it, my man. Can't help it. But good stuff. Great pieces of advice. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, do you have any special memories from being at conventions or other events, whether you were there as a vendor or there as an attendee?
Oh, just any memory? Sure.
Hmm.
I got uh I got 3 good ones with Bob Layton. Tell you real quickly because, well, when I was a big Bob Layton fan when I was a kid. I loved Iron Man. His run was just incredible to me, and that's when I started reading it during his run. So I met him when I was 10. I got an original piece. He did a sketch of Iron Man in the Silver Centurion armor, and just amazing. Loved it, and got to meet him again when I was 14, and he shredded my portfolio. Just told me to draw like those image guys and went to anatomy, which he was right. And then I met him again when I was, oh, in my 30s, I guess, and told him the story of of meeting him, and he had I bought some original pages from him at one point. He remembered that, and we got into a great conversation. He couldn't have been a nicer guy. So it was really odd, meeting him as a kid, and then as a teenager trying to bust into the industry. He was like the president of the EVP at Valiant at that point, and so it was interesting. He's just such a good guy. He was such a great guy. I really enjoyed getting to talk with him all 3 times, even if he was giving me a hard time about my portfolio. And he wasn't. He wasn't giving me a hard time. He was critiquing me, which is what he was supposed to do. So it was all good.
Oh my goodness! Now I got the song playing. That song's probably going to be playing in the back of my head the rest of the night. The Iron Man song by Black Sabbath. So there, you're welcome.
Oh,
I am Iron
sure.
Man. Sorry, it's going to be up in the brain for a little bit, but I digress. With that being said, I want to let you know that this episode of And I Quote, and every episode Van Dyke Quote is indeed powered by our good friends over here at Poddex. Now, Poddex are the hottest, and I mean red hot, new tool for podcasters looking to have more meaningful conversations or gamify their podcast. You simply shuffle up, ask a question, and let the content roll. Get yours today at poddex.com and use that promo code Ryan10. That's RYAN10. Ryan10 for 10% off your order. Do not miss out on that opportunity. So with that, Poddex wants to know, Dan Price, on this episode of And I Quote. If this is your first time here, welcome, and don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. If you have any questions for Dan, as well as our friends over here at Poddex, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Be more than happy to hear from you. Poddex wants to know, Dan Price, what's your favorite gadget?
Oh, my cell phone probably. My laptop, one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't own a fidget spinner or anything like that. So, yeah, probably spend more time on my phone than I should. Um, because I can watch it just like that and watch, movies or listen to baseball games or whatever. It's fantastic. Love my phone.
Oh,
If
okay.
you have one, they're a great invention. You should get one if you don't. They're incredible.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, I do have my own phone. But
okay.
for those of you who don't, feel free to get one if you have the financial means to do it, because you can do a lot of things with a smartphone nowadays. I mean, you can
Yeah.
watch tons of stuff on YouTube. I mean, if you just download the YouTube app and just pop on YouTube, you can watch tons of stuff. And plus, there's a lot of movies on YouTube that are free with ads. So,
Oh yeah, and I have a YouTube Premium subscription, so the which is even better. And I probably because of this reason, I probably watched Glenn Ross on my phone about 8,500 times. Just because I can have it on in the background and follow along.
well,
It's
you know what they say, right, Dan Price? Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
it's right,
That's right.
right.
Always be closing. A, B, C. Always be closing. So there you go. It's one of the
It's
biggest
handy.
lessons anyone can get from that movie. Always be closing. You know, it's only for closers only. It's just coffee's for closers only. So don't drink coffee unless you've closed the deal. So there you go. That's one of the best monologues I've heard in a film. Honestly,
Oh
that whole
yeah,
7. What was it? 7? Was it 7, 8 minute scene? That whole thing. And I know he's in hot water right now, and he's probably not going to be getting too many jobs anytime soon because he's in Hollywood jail. We're talking about Alec Baldwin here. But listen, outside of that stuff, you can't
yeah,
deny his performance as an actor in certain movies, especially his cameo or his short appearance in Glengarry Glen Ross. I mean, come on, man.
incredible,
Yeah.
incredible.
I mean, I should probably, I haven't seen that in a while. I should probably revisit that monologue, if not the film, because I do have the movie on a 2-disc special edition DVD. For those of you who still carry DVDs, I'm a big proponent of physical media because if Skynet takes over, you're going to need something to watch your movies on. So why not keep collecting your DVDs and your Blu-rays? And listen, I don't understand this, but if you want to go for the 4K, listen, Blu-ray is enough. Okay, it's high definition picture and sound. I'm good. I don't need to pay another $50 for another Blu-ray, or excuse me, 4K, just to be blunt. But anyway, if you're a proponent of physical media, more power to you, because not everybody is. Let's see. Morgan, is it Morgan? Yeah, Morgan Hall
Yep.
says, any thoughts on bringing Bigfoot Knows Karate to television, Dan Price?
Absolutely. That'd be the coolest. I mean, I could see because I'm working on a 5 issue arc, right? That's for chapters 1 through 5. And we're looking for a 5 issue arc, and that I could see that easily being a 10 episode mini one season show. Just doing the 5 issues as one season. I could totally see doing that. But it would have to be under the right it'd have to be under the right circumstances. The artwork would have to match. Music would have to be. It would all have to be right. I don't want to dilute the product. You know what I'm saying? But yes, we'll see it as a cartoon, and wouldn't that be so cool, Morgan?
Okay, okay. Well, we'll put it out there in the ether. Maybe something will come of it.
There we
I
go.
hear recently. And I can't say this about everybody, but I believe it's the WGA have come to an agreement with the strike.
Yeah,
So
right.
if
Yeah.
that's true, then now you got to fix the problems with the actors. Pay your actors what they're worth. Now that
Mhm.
you're starting to pay your writers what they're worth, let's finish this up strong with the SAG after folk over there. I'm just throwing that out there as a for instance. But anyway, Poddex wants to know the following. What's your guilty pleasure?
I like wrestling. You know, uh, Wrestling, baseball, probably one of those two things.
Don't you mean wrestling, brother? Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I dig it. Yeah, no, I dig that. I baseball and I like chocolate. I would probably say those are my guilty pleasures.
Who's your favorite baseball team?
The Houston Astros.
Oh, the Houston Astros. Okay, I got you. Are you in? Are you not? We don't have to get into too specific here, but are you joining us from the great state of Texas?
I am. I'm from Austin.
Austin
So
316. Oh my gosh, man. There's a lot of pro wrestling legends that are from the great state of Texas. Who are we talking about? Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Booker T. I mean,
Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes, The American Dream. I mean, the Rhodes
Yeah.
family, I believe, is still
Hmm.
stationed out there. So there's a
Yep.
lot of big name stars Hall of Famers that are in
Oh
Texas.
yeah, the
Am
Von
I right?
Erichs.
Oh,
Yeah,
the Von
yeah,
Erichs. That's right. I'm sorry, the Von Erichs. You're right. That was a big
yeah,
part of early wrestling history. Yeah.
yeah. You can't forget the Von Erichs living in Texas. You get beaten for something like that. Being especially in the Dallas area, they love the Von Erichs to this day.
Oh,
For sure.
Dallas. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I have to remember that if I ever visit. I haven't been to the state of Texas, so I've never visited. I have friends out there though.
Gotcha.
So I have friends in certain parts of the Texas state. Where's where did my friend say she was at again? It was near. Was it near? Not Dallas. Not Houston? It was. I can't remember. I have to rethink
Um,
that, but we'll talk more about that
Fort
later.
Worth, San Antonio,
Maybe it's near
Austin.
San Antonio. I can't remember what she
Yeah.
said to me, but anyway, I'm gonna have to talk to her about it later because she keeps telling me, hey, pay me a visit one of these days. I'm like, well, if I have a duffel bag full of cash and I can afford to travel to the Lone Star State of Texas, then I will get my keister down there in the Wild West of Texas. So By the way, I apologize if my impressions are not making you laugh down there, Texans. I'm sorry, but I can't help it. Anyway, good one though. You brought up wrestling. You brought up the chocolates, and what I forget. Baseball was the other one. I'm sorry.
Oh
So
yeah.
that answers that question. Sorry. If anyone has any thoughts on these, like what's your guilty pleasure, or what's your favorite gadget? Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. We're more than happy to hear from you. Podex wants to know the following: when you pass away, what do you want to be remembered for, Dan Price?
Not the way I pass away, probably. I would probably hope my wife. How I want to be remembered. I just want my wife and kids to know I love them. Yeah, the rest of it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
As long as they got it.
Yeah, fair enough. Mic drop on that one.
Yeah.
Perfectly understandable. What's the favorite thing you've bought so far this year of 2023?
All right. Hold on, I can show you. It's right here.
Oh
Um,
boy, here comes the epic version of show and tell on and I quote here in 20.
absolutely.
Oh my gosh, is that a championship? Let me bring that up here. Hold on a second. Now,
It's a Bigfoot Knows Karate Fiend Club World Championship.
wow, wow.
That would easily be my favorite thing I bought this year. I got it to take with me to conventions and stuff, and you can
Did you?
see it's got and so yeah, that's probably that's probably my favorite thing I bought this year for sure.
Oh my gosh. All we need now is the theme song and the what's the magic words? The champ is here. Like John Cena. You can't see
Oh
me.
yeah,
The champ is
I
here.
got this. I got this recently too. It was a piece of artwork done by a guy named Andy Bloor, who did actually ended up doing a cover for Pentagon as well. I
Wow.
got that recently as well.
That is hashtag like a boss.
Oh yeah, you want to? Man, I'll tell you what. I've got some great art up here from
Do
people.
you?
It's
Do you
it's
have another
incredible.
piece or so that you can share with our viewers or our listeners at this
Sure.
point? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Share with
Hold
us
on.
one or two more pieces, or maybe three. I don't know if you have something to access back there, but
There you go. I'll show you this one. This
so
one.
yeah, what's this one?
This one was a piece of fan art actually,
Oh my god.
and the artist in question asked me for my address. He mailed me the original, and you can see the detail on it. It's beautiful. And
Whew.
so this artist, I'm just put this here for now, went on to we put that as the cover on our deluxe edition of
Mm-hmm.
issue 1 right
Oh my
there.
gosh.
So that was the cover. We ended up buying the artwork from him and putting it on the cover. And he did such a great job with that. Let me just show you this too.
Sure.
He did such a great job with that that we got him to do a cover for issue 2. We did a wraparound cover.
Oh my gosh.
There.
Hmm.
Hold on.
Oh, that's great.
See that? Yeah. and he did such a good job with that. He's drawing Hinagon. So his name is Adam Caswell, and he's just done incredible work. And so, really, really lucky to have him on board. And yeah, so that's some of it. This is the cover for Hinagon. I just had this made for a show recently.
With the QR
That's that
code on it, no less.
with the QR code on it for Kickstarter. Yep, got to have the Kickstarter code on there.
That's
And
important.
yeah, but this is Adam's cover for Hinagon, with colored by Luis Tomas, who is an amazing artist in his own right.
That looks great,
Here,
by the way.
he did this. He did this cover for
Ooh,
us for chapter 2.
I like that one. You know
This
why? Because I
world
like
cover.
swords.
You like what?
I like swords, brother.
Oh yeah, swords are great.
Yeah.
Swords are great. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow. That is, whew. Boy, that's one of the more
yeah.
extreme, should I say, segments? Is that the name? Yeah, segments of show and tell that we've had on, and I quote, in a long time. Long time. My goodness. So if someone wants to follow those individuals, where can they be found on Instagram?
Sure. So Adam can be found on Instagram at Adam. Hold on, I can look this up real quick. Sorry, I don't want to mess this up.
By the way, Morgan Hall says, that's awesome. All the artwork you just showed us.
Oh, thank you, Morgan. Thank you for watching tonight.
Yep, that's what Morgan Hall is saying in the chat here.
That's awesome. Adam _ Caswell 333. You can find Adam's work there. For Luis, you can find him at Draw Erase Repeat on Instagram. And my phone's ringing. Hold on, let me stop that right now.
I hate when people talk during the movie.
Exactly.
Didn't you remember the rules about doing live broadcasts called silence all electronic devices before going on camera?
I messed up. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You learn as we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely. The artist that you were showing the cover for earlier, he did this piece as well.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a big Frank fan. And so he did this. That's Dennis Valencia. You can find him at DR Valencia Designs on Instagram. So really amazing artist. Really amazing artist. Andy Bloor Art on Instagram.
Yep.
So yeah.
Wow, that is amazing stuff. And just so you know, for those of you just joining us, this is And I Quote with special guest Dan Price of Bigfoot Knows Karate on And I Quote. Don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. If you have any questions for Dan Price, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. And if you're joining this live or on the replay, thank you for being with us. We do appreciate it. Speaking of, I believe it's Dennis Valencia, if I'm not mistaken. He's been on And I Quote before, so you can find that episode on our And I Quote playlist. So feel free to check that out. Dan, I'm looking at you. You need to watch that too.
Oh, absolutely.
Go back and watch it. You'll enjoy it. And you who may be watching or listening to this episode may enjoy our past episodes as well. There's an audio feed and a video feed that you can find on our social media channel. So make sure you check those out whenever you have a chance. And Morgan Hall is on fire tonight with these comments. She's saying, wow, that art is cool. There you go.
Thank you, Morgan.
Enough said. Man, you got legion of support from the one and only Morgan Hall. And thank you for chiming in with your comments, Morgan Hall. Do really appreciate it. And also, Poddex is curious, though, Dan, if you could ask one person one question and they had to answer truthfully, who and what would you ask that person? This could be anybody.
Ooh, that's a big question. Man, without getting too personal, would probably say, and just to be completely superficial and make it about comics, I would probably have to ask Rob Liefeld, when am I getting Bloodsport #2? That book never came out. You lied to me. So that would probably be it. I got the bootleg. Excuse me, I got the bootleg, but the bootleg don't count. So I'd like to know where that book is, please, sir. Also, I have a few Kickstarters out there. I'd like the answer on that one too. So where are my Kickstarters?
Oh, well, there you go. All right. Maybe, who is it? It's Rob Liefeld. Maybe even Deadpool himself, Ryan Reynolds, will get messages taken out for you, and he will get back to you on that. Thanks, Deadpool. I don't know,
One of the
Ryan
best.
Reynolds. You're not Ryan Reynolds, man. Every time I look at that guy, all I see is Pool of the Dead. All I see is Deadpool. I don't see Ryan Reynolds. And that's, you know, if you agree with that, fine. If you don't, that's fine too. I know he has an actual name and he's an actual person, but still, every time I look at you, Reynolds, all I see is Deadpool. That's all I see. I don't see Ryan Reynolds, who's been married to Blake Lively for a number of years. They got what, like 2, 3, 4 kids now, whatever it is. I'm pulling a Tom Hanks here. I still don't get it. All I see is Deadpool. You've made what, 2 movies now, and the third one's in limbo because of the situation with Hollywood right now, which hopefully is getting resolved sooner rather than later. But still, just I don't know. Just live your life, Deadpool. I don't know what's going on. By the way, someone has a question here. That's what I was getting at. I'm sorry. Morgan Hall has a question. We saw you went to a signing in Maryland. What or when would be your next signing?
Yeah, I
Or your
was
next?
in Baltimore Comic Con here recently, so I think that's what she's talking about.
Oh,
I'll definitely be back at Comic Palooza, Morgan. So I'll in Houston. So I'll see you there for that if you're going to come down again. It's good seeing you, not last year, but the year before. And I'm working on some store signings right now here in the Austin area. As soon as I have that sorted out, I'll tell you what. I'll DM your mom. Okay. So
oh boy, that's cool. And
so Morgan
yeah.
is my dear friend's daughter, and she's an amazing artist, and she's an amazing kid, and her mom's amazing, and just really, and her dad was a really great guy, and he and I were very good friends, and so it's great to always hear from Morgan for sure. Sorry if you heard a dog running down the stairs, but yeah. So anyway,
Oh, I gotcha. And you said Morgan's an artist herself?
yep,
Oh,
Morgan's a
that's
great
great.
artist.
Oh, that's great. Morgan, by all means, let us know where people can follow you on social media and check out your work and see how the
She's
kind of.
young. She's
Oh,
young. I don't think she's on her own social.
sorry. Well, if you feel
No worries.
comfortable, feel free. But if not, I understand. Let's, keep yourself young. Don't worry about social media right now. It's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs as it is. So we'll just let that one slide.
Absolutely.
Cool that you brought up, what is it called? Baltimore Comic Con. Those are my stomping grounds. That's where I used to live. I used to be in Maryland, but now
Okay.
I'm in North Carolina. So there you go.
Oh, okay. So do you do the Heroes Con?
Never been, but I'm going to. I'm going to be there next year. I'll be there next year.
Yeah, I'm applying for that show for 2024. So
Oh, well, if you're
that
there,
is going
then
to
we'll
be
meet up. We'll have some fun. We'll shake hands. We'll say hi to
absolutely,
each other. We'll take some selfies and, make ourselves go viral on Instagram. Yeah, I'm sure the world would love to see those pictures. So,
absolutely. We're going to own it. We're
yeah,
going to own it.
for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
geeks, what is it called? Geeks/Nerds Unite, and Indie supports Indie, which is what we do our best to do on this show and every show that we do
absolutely.
here at Nerd Culture Channel. By the way, let's see here. You said, it was Rob Liefeld. That's what I was getting at. Sorry, I was going around in circles there for a minute. But I do want to say, with all due respect, it has been a great time speaking with Dan Price on this episode of And I Quote. Dan, thank you so much for being here and sharing with us some of the stories about meeting some of your heroes, also about putting together a storyline known as Bigfoot Knows Karate. I never saw that one coming in all my years on this earth. Never thought I'd see the day where Bigfoot would come back with a vengeance and actually practice defending himself by using the skills known as karate. So, Dan Price, thank you for being here once again. And where can the good people of the interwebs follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything you got going on? Stage is
All
yours.
right. Website wise, you can find me at lesserknowncomics.com or bigfootknowskarate.com. You can on social media, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter. I'm with you. I'm not calling it X. Instagram, Twitter. We're also what else? Blue Sky and Threads and TikTok. I'm all Danomite139 right there. How it says on the screen there. DANOMYTE139. That is the best way to find me.
Giddy up, man. Thanks so much for being here. Do greatly appreciate it. I'm going to be speaking to you in just a moment. My name is Ryan of Nerd Culture. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Yes, it's called Twitter. Let's get with it, folks. At RyanRPM5. Check out everything we're doing on our social media channels. All the links to where you can follow me. Check out my link tree. I got an online store that's got great merchandise for the And I Quote show and some of my other catchphrases, if you will. So feel free to check out the online store. Great merch there. Also, some nerd culture merch is located in the links that are located within the description of this episode. And every episode of And I Quote has all our social media channels as well as the links to buy nerd culture merchandise as well as my link tree where you can find merchandise there for And I Quote and some of the other things that I do, and some of the phrases I like to throw around every now and then, some of the wise words, maybe just funny words funny phrases I like to throw in every now and again. Also, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Once we do, we're going to throw a great big live stream celebration with returning favorites, some surprises, and some special giveaways for you, our incredible fans / subscribers. So do yourself a favor, tell your friends about us, because they're going to tell their friends, and they tell their friends, and so on, and so on, and so on. You know how these things go. Also, Ahsoka's weekly missions episodes are going to be dropping on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Going to be talking spoiler-heavy discussions with special guests about Ahsoka. That's dropping like it's hot on Disney+. Also, here's something that we are going to be doing for the first time ever. We're going to be taking a trip back to the Wild West. Speaking of Texas, we're going to be talking about everything Westerns, Western movies, Western books, Western TV series. Maybe Dan Price will throw in some of his favorite Westerns, since he lives in the great state of Texas. So you never know. But it's going to be hosted by myself, and Lori is going to be, oh my goodness, I just realized something. But anyway, Lori's going to be with us, and that's going to be on Friday, October 6th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, the whole 9 yards. Western celebration. We're going to go back to the old times of the Old West. So join us for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely join us for that. In the meantime, stay healthy, stay strong, stay safe. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring that bell to be notified when our videos go up. And remember, life is better when reading. And remember, indie supports indie. Take a look.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
Sweet dreams they placed on me inside my mind. Chance my truth, twist the past, my memories are fading fast. Am I still missed? Who do you want me to be? Am I still missed?
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now, it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasmafire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasmafire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
Good morning! Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.